than most. Eyes low in the post. Ready for whatever, buddy. Trust me, you won't no smoke. Never disrespect my city, this the land of the ghosts. This shit doper than some white girls that just got off the boat. This shit came straight off the boat, straight off the boat. Straight off the boat, 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 straight off the boat.
What's going on, y'all? So before I get started, I wanted to make sure that I let everybody know I appreciate everybody who's been involved with this venture, whether it be through coming on the show, likes, comments, shares, views, anything that you've done in association with this project. I'm extremely grateful for it, and that's why I want to keep it going for you guys. So last time we were here, we had Pastor Vic, who's somebody who usually agrees with pretty much all my notions on LeBron James in terms of the narrative surrounding his career and the pros and cons that are argued often about his career. So today, we're going to have somebody on the opposite end of the spectrum. As some of you may know, I am a former member of the Marching 100, class of 2006, Hub 100. And so I'm going to have my freshman sister, Jessica Jenkins, come on here, who is a pro-LeBron person. Jessica is a wonderful mind, a beautiful spirit, just a great person to have conversations with. But today, we're going to get into an argument probably because I've been being really soft on a lot of you guys, and I can't have that. I got to have you guys fear coming on here to talk to me. So we're going to talk about LeBron James's, GOAT conversation again, but I'm getting sick of that conversation too. But we're going to talk about his GOAT conversation. We're going to talk about his son potentially enrolling in the California high school and what that means on his free agency. And we're going to also dive a little bit into Kobe Bryant and his recent comments on LeBron James's career. And how does that impact Kobe's legacy? How does that impact what people think of Kobe Bryant? So I'm going to call Jessica now, see what she's up to, and we're going to get this thing popping. Come on, freshmen. Oh, there we go. Let's see what she got going on.
What's up, freshman bro?
What's up, freshman sis? How you doing?
What's up? How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. I'm digging the specs.
I love this sports thing you got going, bro. Like, this is awesome.
I appreciate it, and I'm trying to have as many people as I can on it, so I'm glad you took the time to do this with me.
Yeah, I can't miss this opportunity.
So, yeah, we're going to dive right into it because I got a plumber coming to my house soon, so he may interrupt the call. Yeah. So, first of all, just let me hear your opinion on LeBron James. I don't want to lead you into it.
I am tired of LeBron haters.
Okay.
Like, anybody that dislikes LeBron to me is a hater.
Okay.
We are literally witnessing greatness before our eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And people are hating on him. Don't get me wrong. Let me preface all this by saying, like, Michael Jordan was the greatest person of his time.
Okay.
LeBron James is the greatest player of this time. And I'm going to be real. I do not believe if you take the Golden State Warriors
Mm-hmm.
as they are today
Mm-hmm.
and put them 20 years ago,
Okay.
Michael Jordan doesn't have a ring.
Listen to me. We're not, like I was telling people in my intro that I'm not going to allow people to just spew nonsense the rest of the time. I'm in here to argue now. I'm in here to argue about this thing here. At the end of the day, when you're trying to put a team into a different era or whatever, it's not relevant because you can say the same thing. Back then, they were allowed to do hand checking. Back then, if you came into the paint, you probably get your mouth bust open and there wasn't no foul call. So all the little ticky-tack fouls that LeBron James get now, he wasn't getting them back in the 90s.
But that's my thing. Like, put LeBron James in the 90s.
Yeah.
You don't want that. You don't want that beast in the 90s.
Listen. LeBron James is the type of player who's great in any era. But what I'm not going to let y'all do is take away from Jordan because LeBron James has a hurdle that he can't overcome. And that's what y'all doing with Golden State.
I don't take away from Jordan by any means. And that's why I say they're the greatest players of their time. But in the argument that we're going to compare the two, if you're going to have the conversation, because I agree, I would not. Jordan was it. That's it. Like, he was the greatest player of his time. I can't take that. LeBron is the greatest player of this time. But if you're going to have the greatest of all time conversation, if you're going to put him in that conversation, if you're going to compare them to MJ, because I don't understand why Bill Russell isn't in this conversation, but that's neither here nor there. because I don't ever see them talk about that.
Yeah, because back in the day when Bill Russell was playing, he was like a whole foot taller than everybody he was playing. So some of those things can be skewed and slanted. But I get what you're saying. I get the point that you're making. Yeah.
Like, Magic isn't in this conversation either. Like these were great players.
But that's because Jordan actually played against Magic and supplanted him atop the mountain. So
Yeah, okay.
so you don't have the same you don't have the same luxury when it comes to LeBron and Jordan, because LeBron came in an era where Jordan was clearly out of it. When Magic was beaten by Jordan, they met in the finals, so you were able to see it, and they played on the same team in the Olympics.
But also look at this. I don't hear people talking about Kobe in this conversation either.
That's good, because we're going to get to Kobe later on. But yeah, so we got to stick to LeBron and Jordan, though. When you're comparing the two, this is the thing that separates Jordan from LeBron in my mind. And I was telling somebody yesterday, it's all about heart and mentality. Sometimes, to a fault, LeBron James always makes the right basketball play. So passing the ball off to George Hill, that's the right basketball play. For the situation and the moment and the circumstances surrounding that, it's the wrong basketball play. LeBron James, you have 51 points. Nobody can touch you. You got Steph Curry on you. Take that little yellow boy to the paint and dunk on his face to get your team to lead. Don't pass it off. Don't pass the buck. Don't make the right basketball play.
I don't agree with that.
Why?
Because as great as he is, as great as you are, it is LeBron James for lack of better terms. It is LeBron James against four people.
When you're talking about his teammates, everybody around him know that his teammates didn't play up to par in that final series. When you're talking about getting them involved, that's something that you try and do at the beginning of the game, not while the game is in the balance. That's when you need to prove your worth as the best player or the GOAT. That's when you need to prove your worth. You've carried this load the whole game. Finish it off. Don't try and pass the buck and so that everybody can now be blaming George Hill and J.R. Smith and every other circumstance aside from LeBron James.
So you're going to allow the last 7 seconds of a game to define him? I disagree with
I'm going to allow it. I'm going to allow it to.
I'm dropping 51 points in the game and my team is losing.
But that last 7 seconds puts his entire career into context. It's not just that one instance where LeBron James is seen giving the ball to somebody else when he has a clear advantage, clear lane to do what's necessary to win a game. Especially in a situation like that. You know your team is outmatched. You have a chance to steal the first game of the finals. And you put that in the hands of a player who's been disappointing you the whole time. You don't do that if you're the best player in the world. What you think about LeBron James Jr.? There was a rumor that Gary Payton put out that LeBron James Jr. is already enrolling into a California high school. And with LeBron James saying that his family is going to be the most important part of his next transition in his basketball career, what do you think that says about him already planting roots in California?
So he already had roots because he has a house in LA.
Yeah, I think he got 2 of them.
I do not see the benefit of him going to LA as a basketball decision. Because his wife and family could very much live there in that house in LA and him play somewhere else. I do not see the benefit in him going to LA to the Lakers or the Clippers. Like if don't get me wrong, wherever LeBron goes, that team is automatically a championship contender because he's the greatest.
That's not the truth. If he goes to the Lakers with nothing else, that team is still not a championship contender.
Yes, they are. I disagree with that.
With Lonzo Ball, Kyle Kuzma, and Brandon Ingram as his role players,
LeBron James can take this team to the finals. This team is statistically worse than the 07 team he took to the finals. If he can take that mess, LeBron James.
But LeBron James also had Kevin Love. He also had an all-star on this roster.
Who didn't show up?
The man was averaging like 20 points a game.
He was all right.
Yeah, he was all right. Like, I ain't gonna say he was great, but that's better than what he gonna get in the Lakers.
All LeBron James needs is for you to do your job at the basic. He needs a basic. This team, bro, if you tell me a month from now that the Cleveland Cavaliers was going to make this finals, I laugh at you. I thought this was going to be the year that final streak was going to be broken.
Me too. Me too.
He wasn't going to the finals this year. And when he beat Boston in Game 7, I had to pick my mouth up off the floor because I just knew this was it.
Keep going. I want to put what you just said in the context about him taking this team. there are several players on this team that went to the finals with LeBron James before. So you got Tristan Thompson, you got Kyle Korver, you got Kevin Love, you got J.R. Smith. You're discrediting all the work that they did during the season. Maybe they didn't show up as people would have liked for them to in the playoffs and in the championship, but these people contributed to LeBron James getting to the finals in years before, and they contributed this year, however minimal their contributions may have been. But they contributed.
I'm not. So let me. I'm not taking away from what they did do, but they were very inconsistent.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh.
They were very inconsistent.
Oh yeah.
And the playoffs is not the time for you to be inconsistent.
No.
If you was gonna ever do that, you got a whole regular season to figure that
out. 82 games to get that out the way.
A whole regular season. So if you was gonna ball in the regular season and drop off in the playoffs, you got it messed up. Something went wrong.
Okay.
I need you to figure that out.
Okay. But let's stick with this LA thing. And you brought up Kobe Bryant earlier. So recently, it seems like Kobe Bryant has just been dropping these little hating messages on LeBron James when he said stuff like, "Oh, you gotta find a way to win." Or, "Ever since I was young, my only goal was championships." Like, come on, Kobe.
So we all know Kobe copy.
Right.
We all know that.
Right.
I mean, he full of himself. The man got 5 rings. I can't take that from him.
Right.
He's full of himself. However, he did say something I agreed with.
Which is?
So when he was Coach Phil Jackson, right? Coach. When he was talking about him. He said, "I struggled with this as a superstar on the Lakers team, where I was like, man, these guys around me, they garbage, they trash. You know what I'm saying? They trash." And he was just like, well, Phil Jackson was like, "That's your fault. You're the leader of the team. You got to find a way to motivate them and get them involved."
Like that. LeBron James gets the benefit of the doubt 98% of the time. Like, and I think that's part of it. Like, LeBron James, everybody else does this thing where they pass the buck off to everybody else, and there's no level of accountability for LeBron James, whether it be through his teammates, through his coaching staff, through the media. Nobody holds LeBron James accountable for the things that he's done that directly impact his legacy. Losing Kyrie.
I agree with that.
What you mean?
And the reason, here's what I'm saying. That I think there are a lot of people giving LeBron James a lot of flack.
Yeah, there are.
I think there's a lot of people holding him accountable for that. Prime example: Charles Barkley had the nerve, the unmitigated gall to partner.
The temerity.
To say, you know, if anybody says LeBron James is in the GOAT conversation, I'm gonna slap him in the mouth. Sir, how many rings do you have?
Settle.
So I feel like you don't have any right to say that. And I feel like a lot of people are giving him a lot of flack because, you know, his finals record. And you know, I feel like a lot of people are blaming him for this finals loss. There are some people supporting him. There are a lot of people supporting him, but he's catching a lot of the blame for this finals loss. Like Kobe said, he told LeBron James, "LeBron, you need to find a way to win this final." Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
But he's also catching a lot of defense. And I'll give you another example with the whole hand injury thing. The man waited until after he got swept to put on a cast. So,
did you not see the reports, though?
What reports? You talking about the ones that came out after Game 4?
Here's what happened. LeBron James, he broke his hand in
Game 1.
After Game 1.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't put the cast on because he did not want any foolishness from the media about him in that cast.
Okay, so what do you think you're going to get when you miraculously put on a cast after Game 4?
He wasn't going to wear it, but the news broke before he went into the interview room. So that he was supposed to be wearing it anyway. He was already in trouble for not wearing it.
And that to me is the other side of the argument that you're making. While there are people vilifying LeBron James and blasting him, there are people who relentlessly defend him. You. And then on top of that, like, you're doing push-ups before Game 2 on a broken hand. How do you explain that, sis? How do you explain that?
If you can shoot with a broken hand, if you can do a lot of things with a broken hand.
He's putting 270 pounds on a broken hand. Push-ups are designed to put stress on your hands. If you got a broken hand, you don't do push-ups.
And blocking and all that with a broken hand. And the other reason, which I think is very smart, if the news would have came out in Game 2, 3, or 4 that LeBron James had a bad hand, guess what they was going to target?
That hand. Yeah.
And I think that's smart.
But look at it from my perspective. Look at it from my perspective, sis. If you tell me after game 1 that you broke your hand, then everything that I see from games 2 through 4, I can be like, oh, that's why it's like that, because your hand is broken. But if I see nothing, I hear nothing about your broken hand until after you get swept. To me, it looks like people gonna say, oh, that's the reason why he was playing bad, because his hand was broke. That's what's happening.
No, if my hand, if I just lost, I don't give a goddamn what anybody got to say or see. I'm gonna put my cast on if my hand hurt. Period.
Right.
I don't care.
Okay.
It don't matter no more.
So what if your hand hurt after game 1, sis? You putting your cast on, right?
I'm not gonna let you see it. He wore the cast outside of that. He wore the cast outside of the.
According to who? We ain't seen no pictures. We ain't no report. Whatever LeBron James does gets found on camera, no matter where he at. He's the most polarizing athlete. Well, I guess he's the most polarizing American athlete in the world. If he was wearing a cast at any point during the NBA Finals, I guarantee you it would have been seen. You made a damn good point about him being able to control the media surrounding him, kind of like Beyonce. I've learned over the years not to mess with the beehive, so I've learned that a long time ago. So I just leave it at that. But Kobe Bryant is another person who's come up quite often in this conversation, and I want to get back on that about Kobe Bryant. Do you think Kobe Bryant is butthurt because the conversation is now LeBron James versus Jordan, and it's never been Kobe versus Jordan?
Absolutely.
Because the way I'm looking at it is like, Kobe, you did everything in your power to get into this conversation with Jordan. You modeled your game after him. You had the tenacity of Jordan. You had the killer instinct. You got the 5 titles. And 3 months after you left the league, nobody was talking about Kobe Bryant. Nobody.
And he butthurt. Now I think he has. Because I did watch one of his shows. Detail. Detail.
Yeah, that's the only thing people know Kobe Bryant for.
But he's a competitor. Kobe is conceited, he cocky, and he's a competitor. He's very competitive. So I got 5 rings, and I did it, and I stayed in one team, and y'all not talking about me. Yeah, he did.
And then you look at other extenuating circumstances. Did Kobe ever win a title without an extremely talented big man?
Thank you. I've been thank you.
Never won without Shaq. Never won without Pau Gasol.
For a long time. When Shaq left, he struggled until they got Pau Gasol.
He didn't make the playoffs that first year. He lost he had a 3-1 lead and lost that, and then got beaten 5 the next year after that. So until you got Pau Gasol, not only was your team not relevant, they weren't competitive.
I feel like if anybody has heart, it is LeBron James. I think there's a difference in personality and I don't think it's I think he doesn't have that dog personality. And that's why I'm not going to compare it to heart. I'll give you that. Because I feel like, but there's a difference between, LeBron James is very much way more team oriented, way more of a getting everybody involved type of person than Kobe or Jordan was.
Oh yeah.
He didn't necessarily enjoy playing with Kobe and Jordan.
No way. You couldn't because Jordan will punch you in the face and Kobe ain't giving you the ball.
So that's what I'm saying. He didn't have that forget you. I don't care if you're on my team. It's the me show, and he's not that type of person. But it's I think he does need to sit back and say. And be like, well, LeBron, you got to make a decision, buddy. And I agree with you on that. I'll say that I think he's a bit misconstrued about who he is and what he should do in a game.
That's causing him to lose championships. That's causing it to dent his legacy. And that's also causing people to have this conversation about him and Michael Jordan, because he could have a long time ago took that conversation by the throat and pushed it forward with his own agenda.
I don't think it affects his legacy, in my opinion, because
you're a blind witness. That's why you don't think
I'm not a blind witness. That man got to 8 straight finals. 8. That man is the reason my Atlanta Hawks have not been in the finals because of LeBron James.
Well, no. It's more than just LeBron James as to why the Atlanta Hawks ain't been to the finals.
He is the reason that we won 60 games that year, and I swear
Amazing season. Amazing season.
For the last 8 years, there has not been a LeBron James team to reach the finals. For 8 years. 8. And so, to me, that says a lot. Because if we're talking about legacy, Michael Jordan didn't go anywhere until Scottie Pippen got there.
If you wanna talk about legacy and Jordan and Pippen came off the bench. Jordan, his first year in the league, and Jordan won MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, led the league in steals, averaged over 2 blocks a game, won the slam dunk contest, was the All-Star Game MVP. That was all that with Scottie Pippen averaging 7 points a game. So I get what you're saying about Scottie helping Mike win championships, but if you want to talk about these 8 straight finals that LeBron James has made it to, let's not forget that every year he's had Kevin Love, every year he's had a Kyrie Irving, he's had a Dwayne Wade, he's had a Chris Bosh on these teams too, who are all-stars and Hall of Famers in their own right.
Kevin Love is up for debate about Hall of Fame. Sorry.
That's the truth. I'll give you that. He's not a surefire like the other 3.
If Kyrie don't stop being injured, he's going to be up for debate too. So I'm just going to
I agree with that too. But while he was on the team with LeBron James, he was a top 3-point guard in the league.
Championships, I'll give you. But the fact that he even made it to the finals, that's where I'm getting at. He made it to the finals with these teams.
Yeah, but these weren't terrible teams. This year is the one year.
07.
07 wasn't a terrible team. They were a top 5 defensive team in the league. Like, Larry Hughes led the league in steals. But he didn't have the teammates that he has now. No, he didn't have the favorite to win the title back then. And no, the team wasn't what you would call a championship caliber team. But this team, this year, is the only one where I say LeBron James had no help. Because he didn't have help offensively or defensively this year. At least in 07, he had some defensive help. LeBron James is going through Charmin toilet paper to get to the finals.
I wouldn't say that.
Who's the best team LeBron James played? Boston?
And especially not this year.
Yes, he did. He had toilet paper going through the finals.
Not this year.
Yes, this year, sis. He went through Boston without his 2 best players. He went through a Toronto team that has been spooked by LeBron for the past 3 years. And who did he play in the first round?
He played the Pacers.
That wasn't no cakewalk. That wasn't no cakewalk. That wasn't no cakewalk. But they ain't ready though. They ain't ready.
Brad Stevens is listen. Y'all can say y'all 2 best superstars or whatever. He went against Brad Stevens, and the fact that he beat Brad Stevens, that says a lot to me with that bum team. And when is the conversation we're gonna talk about Tyronn Lue and his bad coaching?
Yo, he should be fired.
When is that gonna be in the conversation?
We can have that. We can have that the next time we have you on here, sis, because we got to have you back. Sis, I appreciate you for coming on here doing this with me. It was definitely amazing. It was fun to have you on. I'm giving people an opportunity to shout out whatever organizations, whatever clubs, anything that you want to shout out in the last half of this. I'm giving people an opportunity to do that. I'll go first. I want to shout out my cousin Adrian Carter and Soul Shirtin. They made this shirt, which was for a mime reunion that I was a part of, the 10-year Antioch Mime Ministry reunion. I just did that and was tired as I don't know what. But, yeah, I want to shout out Perfected Praise Ministries at my church back home in Broward County. And I just want to shout out anybody doing anything positive. So go ahead, sis. Who you want to shout out?
Yeah, I want to shout out to my church, Family Crossover Church, doing big things in Tampa, Florida. Definitely shout out to my family, everybody, my friends that all support me, and it's all been looking out. So yeah, I just want to shout out to everybody trying to, do big things. Everybody trying to come up. Everybody just trying to do, their entrepreneurial thing, man. I love this, by the way. And shout out to you, man.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
This is amazing.
I appreciate it.
I love this. I love the concept. I love the thought behind it, man. Keep doing what you're doing, man.
Most
and then you gotta have me back on, though.
Most definitely. We're gonna get you back on here. I'm gonna convert you one of these days. All right, sis. You have a great day.
All right, bro.
Higher than most, eyes low in the post. Ready for whatever, buddy. Trust me, you won't no smoke.